Imagine you're on a game show and the game host shows you three doors. Behind one of them is a pile of banknotes, and behind two of them is a coin. Now you choose one of the doors, and the host opens another and shows that there is a coin behind it. Now, would you choose to change the door you're on or not? Intuition tells you that it's only a 50-50 chance either way, but maths tells you that it's worth to change the door. Why? This is called the Monty Hall paradox, and it's called a paradox because it runs counter to our intuition. The way we understand the world is wrong, and that still is kind of a good thing, and this all relates to abstraction. In this presentation, I will talk about the agent model, about why agents learn, why all models are incorrect, and why they are still useful like that. We meet the agent. The agent in intelligence theory is someone acting in an intelligent manner. It perceives the environment, takes actions autonomously in order to achieve some goals. In this case, intelligent only means that it's able to reason about the world, that it has a mental model of what happens around the world when it does something. It has to answer the most important question: what should I do given some circumstances? This model has been successfully used in economics and politics and other sciences to reason about the behavior of states and companies, where given certain goals, it can be much clearer to understand what they're doing. If we want to understand a person as an agent, we can take a human's mind, so what the inputs the senses perceive, and this leads to certain actions the person takes. The mind interacts with the memory, storing what was seen before and using what it's in the memory to guide the options you choose. And the whole thing is regulated by feedback from the outside world based on what you do. This model can be very easily applied to, let's say, an artificial intelligence tool. It is a neural net that operates on inputs and produces certain outputs, which is then modified by training, and the training is what training the AI receives is based on the reward model on what the AI puts out. But why do agents learn at all? Let's say we have an AI as an agent. There is an example story about an AI whose sole purpose is collecting stamps. In this case, its terminal goal would be achieving as many stamps as possible. And to this purpose, it may put instrumental goals that help it achieve its terminal goals. For example, a stamp factory, stamp counting machine, or whatever else helps it achieve its end purpose. The terminal goal is not related in any way to what or how intelligent the agent is, and is simply whatever the purpose of the agent is. But some instrumental goals occur more often than others. Those are called convergent goals because no matter what the terminal goal of an agent is, we may reason that it may still want to achieve these goals. These are most often categorized as self-preservation, goal preservation, and self-improvement for pretty obvious reasons, because if you don't preserve yourself, you may not achieve your goals. If your goal changes, you won't achieve your original goal, and if you improve yourself, you may achieve your goal better. There are a few ways an agent can self-improve. It can acquire more resources, or it can acquire more knowledge and utilization of those resources. The knowledge, and it can also acquire a better model of the world. This model is a balance between speed, accuracy, and efficiency. In this case, efficiency means the amount of energy and computational resources used to model whatever the agent would do in the future and the results of that. Still, all models are wrong. This is because models are somewhat lossy, no matter in their construction or utilization. Let's say you have some data and want to construct a model of it. Some of it will be lost to biased measurements and data. Others can be lost due to simply inaccurate or bad measurements, or simply inappropriate application of the model and the data used to construct the model. There are some examples of models of the world that are constructed incorrectly. For example, conspiracy theories are a good example of using very biased data due to cherry picking and discarding whatever disproves the theory of the person. Bloodletting is an example of constructing a model on simply very little or non-existent data and simply extrapolating on what is there, and not having a good model leads to it being simply not really effective at what it's supposed to do. Then there is the example of Google using AI summaries, and there was a story when someone Googled what to do when depressed, and the AI suggested jumping off a bridge. This is because the model was trained on internet data, and it does not predict what a normal person would say, but simply what what would be believable for a person on the internet to say. And lastly, we have missing number from Pokemon. This is an example of an incorrectly applied model for sprite rendering when being fed garbage data, and simply not producing any sensible data information at all. When applying, there are mathematical occurrences when applying models outside their defined boundaries make sense, but this is made a choice that is made deliberately, and you don't do that at will. Still, some models are useful. Why do we discard data at all? Braintruff on YouTube, on a Brain Truffle has made fluid simulation software that explores the fluid from different levels, from quantum at the bottom to general fluid simulation for large masses of fluids and gases, and simply in the very low regions there is some data that is then irrelevant in later regions, when you go bigger and lay. And sometimes the data that is interesting is not particular information in one specific point, but statistical data or general information about the system. It's like on a map, when you zoom in, the places that are relevant to you may change a lot from when you're zoomed out to the country. If you zoom out even more, a placement of a simple road or a city may not inform you at all about, for example, international politics. Simple models are always wrong, but those that are not simple are often just unusable. The amount of the amount of data in general produced in the last years of humanity is exponentially more than during the previous years. For example, the Hubble telescope has created 153 terabytes of data. CERN has created 420 petabytes of data. This is 3 orders of magnitude more. And even for YouTube, it's even worse, because according to a press release, there are more than 500 hours of content uploaded every minute. If you want to take away things from this presentation, I want it to be those that our intuition about the world is often made simply good enough to survive, and the conditions changed a lot since the last years, so we must always use our knowledge to train the intuition and not let our intuition simply guide the knowledge wherever it pleases. We must be aware of the assumptions we make when a model is constructed, and when we use a model, what assumptions were made to simplify and generalize the model to make it applicable. And lastly, we need to beware of garbage data, whether it's used to train the model or used to evaluate the model at some point. We must always know that when we put garbage data in, only garbage comes out.